Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. If you don't see the top of the chat, please take notice. I do put a little bit of a warning out there tonight. I am in a mood. If you are yellow bellied, or it can be described as being a yellow bellied individual, or you are easily offended, this is not your live. Because we're going to step in it, we're going to step on it, and we're going to knock some sense into people that they never expected. Yes, we will be talking about Summer Wells. We will go ahead and get into there, even though I didn't put Summer Wells in my title, because we're going to take a look at other things, and I don't want my channel to be said, oh, you advertise Summer Wells, but you don't talk about Summer Wells. Yes, we do, and we will. As we're waiting for people to come in, I am, of course, going to stop and say hello to everybody. Palm Patrol, thank you. In Sherry's opinion, Miss Justice, our mod for the night, please, everybody, thank her for being here. Pen 1010, thank you for coming in. I do appreciate you being here. I do see we have some lurkers as well. So, hello, if you're lurking, and if you do decide to watch on replay, and seriously, just hear this whole thing out and see how this goes. I thank you very much in advance. Denelin 2, the legendary thank you, and a whistle while you lurk. I also thank you. We're going to be talking about some uncomfortable topics today. And yes, I do mean we are going to get to Summer Wells. Karen Baz, thank you very much for coming out tonight. How you doing? And if y'all can hear the cicadas, if you heard me on the other night on Justin's channel, I'm about to do what exactly what he said I do. I apologize for the cicadas. They have actually been quiet for a week, and then tonight they decided to start chirping. Rue, how you doing? Thank you for coming out. So if the critters in the woods becomes too much of an annoyance for anybody, let me know. I can always shut my window that's right next to me or right by me. Palm Patrol, usually we are so chill, and we like to talk about the facts. Miss Justice, I'm going to leave that up to you, because if you notice I'm going into territory that somebody might be offended or might not like, I'll leave that up to you. Karen Boz, they are seriously quieter than they were, but they're still there occasionally. As we're waiting for more people to come in, I'm going to put this information out there. Does anybody not know who Officer Tatum is or his channel? Anybody not know who Officer Tatum is? I'm going to be putting a couple links to his videos, or a couple videos of his, in my description as I go a little bit here. Okay, so the Officer Tatum is actually a political radio host. That he has a national radio station, radio channel, and he actually put out a video. Not about, let's see, I'm gonna say it was about an hour ago. and also a video he put out about a year ago, which I'm dropping the links in the into the description right now as we're live. So if you want to take a look at the reference for these links, these stories, we are not showing the full story. But we're going to show a portion of the story. And I do encourage anybody to after my stream to click on the link and hear the full story, hear his opinion. Leave him a like on his lives, even though one of them was from a year ago. I'm annoyed. And I think I have really good reason. A little bit of background information some of you might not know. I was at one point a education major in college. And I had my heart set on being a teacher. Life has its little weird twists and turns, and not because of any sort of legality issue. I did not or was not able to become a teacher. And hello, Rue, I did say hi to you. Huntress, thank you very much for coming out. Pen 1010, I did say hi to you. Crystal, thank you for coming out. Dolores Hayes, thank you very much for coming out. Again, everybody, stay seated. I'm going to get this off of my chest because I'm annoyed by this. And people need to hear this. The education system is failing students. Not in a way of getting an F on a particular subject in school. This isn't even about the books that they're allowing in schools. And I'm not talking about, back in the 50s, the 60s, and part of the 70s with book banning and things like that. I'm talking about straight out, it has an agenda, and it's offensive. It is highly offensive. Did you know about this happening? And forgive me, I don't remember what school system he said it is in. Maybe he does say it in this. But take out the whole factor that this is a black student and just keep it at the level that this is a student doing this to a teacher. A student doing this to the teacher. This is who I'm saying, like I mentioned before, this is the Officer Tatum. He has a YouTube channel. He has a national radio station as well. A lot of his commentary or a lot of his opinion or what he puts out there is political. I'm not going to deny that, but not in this moment is he political in any way, shape, or form. Just watch this video clip of what happens in a classroom.
Hit this teacher in the head with the chair, but I'm gonna play a little clip and it'll be blurred a little bit for viewer discretion, but we'll play the clip anyway, and you'll see exactly kind of what happened in this fight. And the crazy thing is two things that I observed. Why is it always young black kids? And why they always getting away with stuff. Roll the clip.
Hey.
Again, like I said, go to his channel, watch the video. That video he posted out there about an hour ago. I was already planning on talking about something different about education, what's going on in schools. And I caught this and I was like, oh my God, why? Why is this not a national story? Why is this not this child, this student not being expelled from school? Officer Tatum goes into explaining that the reports and everything, nothing happened to the student. The teacher got knocked out when she was trying to get control of her classroom. Agenda. You're exactly right, Karen Baus. Hello, Sammy Sparrow. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. We're just getting started, so you haven't missed anything. Kate Yu, thank you for coming out. I believe, and I used to be, because I was an education major and I wanted to teach and everything, I was 100% against anybody being a student being homeschooled. Because I believe that the education system was good. But you cannot, as a student, learn in an environment like this. Homeschooling is the way. 100% homeschooling is the way to go. Because they don't teach you to learn. They teach you to pass a test. Do you remember about a month and a half ago, there was this whole controversy out of South Carolina where a little boy was, I believe he was actually a elementary school kid, maybe early junior high, was wearing, he had a patch on his book bag, and it was the Gadsden flag. Gadsden. Gadsden flag. And people were complaining because they said it was a racist flag. What you're teaching, what the school systems are teaching now, is to pass a test, not to learn, not to inspire somebody to learn. Our country is in trouble, and it goes back to what kids are learning in school right now. There's this trend on TikTok to ask a guy or ask a person of how often they think of the Roman Empire. The United States, for a very, very long time, has been compared to the Roman Empire because of not just political, but the structure of politics, the structure of the government, and all these other different variables. They're similar to what what there is going on, or what happened in the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire fell about 200 years, I don't know the exact number of years, after it took its stronghold. Hello, Cherokee Girl. Thank you very much for coming out. I appreciate you being here. The Roman Empire fell about 200 years after it began. Do you wonder why the United States is struggling the way it is and why it is doing right now? There's a really, really good saying is saying the further you look into history, the further you look into the past, is the further you see into the future. People need to take a look at what happened to the Roman Empire because it's exactly what is happening in the United States. Exactly what's happening. Social issues galore, problems all over the place, and nobody is fixing them. Nobody's identifying the problems and saying, "How do we fix it?" And let's get it let's get this fixed. I'm not intending to be political, but look at what happened in Congress today or yesterday, whenever it was. I heard about this today. The Congress finally decided to pass a 45-day extension on a budget. An extension, not a budget, an extension. And one of the congressmen, to prevent a vote from happening, decided it was okay to break federal laws and pull the fire extinguisher, pull the fire alarm. So they had to evacuate the building instead of doing the business of being in Congress. Again, not being political, not saying names, not saying who, what side of what aisle, whatever you want to call it. But somebody had the immaturity to decide that it was acceptable to pull a fire alarm to stop a vote. I have another video I want you to listen to. Again, this is from Officer Tatum. The video is from about a year ago. I don't know the exact date. It now has 3.6 million views. And this is the kind of student that all students should be encouraged to be more like. This student has a strong sense of direction, a very good idea and grasp on what is going on and what he needs to do to correct for himself to be better educated, to be inspired to be educated, and to or inspired to learn, compared to what this school system is teaching students. Now, let's go ahead and put a trigger warning on this video because I know exactly what they're talking about, and a lot of people are going to know about. Like I put it at the top before I even started tonight. If you are yellow-bellied or you're easily offended, this is not the live for you, and this is exactly why. Because this child is 100% right.
Young man. If anybody can find out who he is, get him my contact information. I want to talk to him. I want to have him on my show. Roll the clip.
It's Brad Taylor, and I just finished my freshman year at RHS. I've been a part of District 196 schools now for 10 years, and I'm going to give you a glimpse today of what's actually going on inside these schools. Despite the board's attempt to deny it, District 196 schools are quickly becoming a place where promoting activism is actually more important than promoting education. I'll take you back to my first day at RHS this fall. The principal came out and gave us a heartfelt speech about equality and standing together. He began to list countless races, such as Latino, Asian, expressing how much they matter and how important they are. But never once did he mention a race or identity that reflects me, or half the kids that were in the class. Now, members of the board, I know you haven't been to school in a while, and I know none of you or most of you don't have any kids left in the school district. But you must admit how uncomfortable it will be to be characterized just by your skin color on the first day of school and be thought that you were wrong just because of your skin color. So I'll never forget the look one of my friends gave me from across the room as we were sitting there listening to this blatant bias being expressed in the so-called equity statement by the leader of our school.
Boy, smart.
To be clear, I don't need you to tell me that I matter, but hearing the condolences given to other races and leaving just one race out, it inevitably you'll start to feel like you've done something wrong. And in our principal's attempt to unify us, he instead created unwarranted boundaries and barriers between his students, pitting us against each other based on characteristics that we can't control. In another separate instance, I was told that writing "All Lives Matter" on the whiteboard was political and could be seen as offensive. When I questioned the teacher after class, she told me that she didn't have an answer and she just had to erase it, and it was quickly erased. There are political signs all over RHS, about specific races that matter, specific sexual orientations that matter, and specific perspectives that matter. But when I questioned the RHS administration about how these signs were political, they told me that they were supporting human rights. So when I questioned why the equity statement couldn't represent all students, they told me that to even ask that question was outlandish and offensive. And when I asked why that was, they told me, quote, "Whites have a pretty good situation right now," unquote.
Oh, it's more. It's more. I want to interject and say something, but it is more. Can you imagine somebody saying that to your child after all we've been through? Okay.
So is that not racism? Disregarding my question merely because of the color of my skin. To be honest, after enduring a year of the people in charge telling me that I'm a racist and I'm privileged and pointing out our irreversible differences, I've never noticed race more. And it's becoming the first thing I notice when I meet someone, which has never before been the case. RHS administration confidently told me that RHS students and staff are happy with their equity statement. But from my experience in talking with other students, this is not the case. I know many kids who disagree with their teachers, but they're too scared to stand up because they're worried that their grades will be docked and their learning experience will be affected. My honors government teacher, I'm not going to say his name, but he's mentioned that Democrats care more about all people while Republicans only care about themselves.
He's probably black.
And he's also inferred to us that socialism is better than democracy. He even had a statue. He had a statue of a socialist leader in his classroom. I've been told by a lot of kids that they just stay silent and adjust their schoolwork to reflect an acceptable opinion to secure a good grade. I've been approached by multiple teachers who have told me in private that they just want to say that they agree with me and they support me standing up, but they can't say it in front of the class for fear of being disciplined by the administration in some way or losing their jobs. There is clearly only one way to think in this district, and that is that they are teaching their kids to shut up if they don't agree. Now, members of the board, I want you to take a good look at yourselves in the mirror tonight and ask, are you really standing up for the equality of all people, or are you just pushing a damaging political ideology on our students? A fellow coworker at my job, who, by the way, is of color, discreetly told me that the schools seem to be pushing a very leftist agenda in class. This proved that not everyone is happy with your school, and not everyone who isn't happy is white.
There you go, boy.
Now, due to all these instances I've mentioned and many more that I can't fit in this 5-minute speech, I've decided to leave this district and continue school on a private Christian school online.
There you go, boy. I'm happy for you. I don't pay for your school.
And there will be sacrifices, and I will not get to walk in the graduation ceremony or attend milestones at RHS, but I will be able to learn in an environment that is not intent on punishing me daily for my skin color and political views. Now, regardless of how you take my speech, whether you just shrug it off as malarkey or Fox News talking points, I encourage you to think about it, because someday I'm going to be a leader. I may be the president, a governor, or just a professional golfer. Yes. But I will never stop believing that everybody has value, no matter their skin color or personal beliefs. And it's a shame that you're not going to be able to say that I was an alumni of RHS in District 196.
I don't know what grade he was in. I don't know anything about him. But damn, he just burnt that whole entire school board to a crisp. He went in there and told them exactly what the problem was. And how many of you think they fixed it? Because I don't. The education system's messed up. This is why our country, and I'm not trying to be political, but you look at the school districts, you look at what they're teaching, and our schools, our country, our everything is in trouble. Student like him, a student like the boy from South Carolina that with the Gadsden flag, are the only kids that are being or have any sort of giving our country hope or a chance. But just as he said in that video that I played, they're being taught to shut up. They're being taught to pass a test, not learn. You know, Karen Boss is exactly right. We have a theme. I have a bit of a theme tonight, and if anybody wants to join me, come up and join me. They're more than welcome to. I'll be more than happy to drop a link. Agendas. Whether it be somebody on YouTube or it's somebody out on a school board, in a school system, like I just was pointing out, there's too many agendas. I'm a big proponent in saying when it comes to YouTube and especially related to Summer Wells or even, the whole controversy that happened about a channel, the Sour Cream channel, with what was said about to Brandy. Good God, that woman is a saint. And this might not be in a phrase that anybody wants these kids' names be brought up in, but we're going to get into it in just a moment. I promise you. It's just this is where I was. Like I had not planned on anything serious. I did want to talk about, Clark County out in Las Vegas. Their school teachers are being arrested at a school board meeting because they questioned a $75,000 raise to oh my goodness, the superintendent when the school system's struggling. I'm not saying 7,500. I want to make sure I'm clear. It was 75,000. The man's making over $300,000 a year. But they're arresting teachers because they are saying we have other problems that we need. The superintendent did not need this raise. We need that money in the schools. This country has an issue with agendas. YouTube has an issue with agendas. I'm a person that firmly believes that creators can work together. And accomplish a lot of good. As long as you put your differences aside, a lot of good can be accomplished. The idea of, and again, I apologize to everybody that I'm this is really off topic. This is not my the normal who I am. It just, I get these moments where I get so fed up that I've got to speak. Kids deserve better, no matter if they're a child in a school system that's not being taught right, or they're a child that's missing, that needs attention, that needs the attention of a system that's supposed to be designed to protect them and help in situations like this. And yet you have parents like the Wells that step in between and say, no, don't you dare. We don't need. Don't need your help, but your child is missing. And then you have the complete opposite aspect of this. Karen Boss, you put up hearts and monkey emojis for Michael Vaughn. Brandy and her husband are saints. Oh my goodness. If any child would have the parents like them to turn around and advocate like they did for their child. They went to the state and said, we need to fix this and fix it now. Here's an idea. Turkey Girl, you're right. They're being treated as they're dispensable. They are treated as they are dispensable. You can't help but to say, sit there and look at what is truly going on here. What is truly going on? With the Wells, I honestly, and if you've actually paid attention, I've appeared on other channels over the course of the past couple of weeks, and I've not been live, and I do owe everybody an apology for that. And I'm very sorry about that. But in that course of time, I've really come to realize something. By taking a step back and only being on other channels and not focusing on what I want to talk about, or what's on my heart to talk about, it has actually been enlightening to me. I'm not going to go a little bit of detail on that in a moment. The wells, I believe, through all the mudslinging, the manure that's piled up, the pure bullshit that's poured out of their mouth, whether they've been high as a kite, drunk as can be, drunk like a skunk. Exactly, Ms. Justice, exactly. Yes, exactly. Cherokee Girl, I understood what you meant. I didn't take it as you were saying that they were something that could be gotten rid of easily and not dealt with. I completely knew you were saying that they were indispensable. I think creators need to have a responsibility, as Miss Justice is saying, that what Sour Cream channel is doing is horrible. Re-victimization should not be acceptable. And that's exactly what happened with when it comes to Brandy and Michael Vaughn and Tyler and her children. I don't know their children names. What I know is, and what I believe is, that the Wells have actually told us exactly. And I've changed. I've come 180 on this. I still am very concerned about what the priceless parking lot and the amount of time that they spent there. And I do believe that if this is an accident that they are covering up, that parking lot is very, very possible a moment in time, a spot, a location that is very concerning. But I also believe, I've come to believe that in my heart, that, or in my mind, however you want to say, that the Wells very well may have already told us what happened to Summer. In their inebriated state of mind, I believe that ultimately the Wells, and I've always believed the Wells were responsible. Were ultimately responsible for neglect and for other things and all these other issues that are going on with that happened on 110 Belton Hill Road. I believe they've told us exactly what happened to Summer. And I believe they know it. I believe they know it. I believe they know that they blew it, that they screwed up and told us what happened this summer. An innocent child that has had to fear the monster that was in there within her parents and not the monsters under the bed. Yes, I know you were using a phrase I've said before, but it's still valid and very true. I also have believed I still believe that there is the potential for an accident that happened that the parents are covering up. Yes, Miss Justice, exactly. It's like opposite day from Seinfeld. We have to question what everything means and what it truly represents, because otherwise it truly makes no sense. I'm a little bit I'm a little bit young on the whole Seinfeld thing. I never really was into the show Seinfeld. The only really thing that ever really caught my attention with Seinfeld is the soup Nazi. You know, the past few weeks where I've been away and appearing on other channels, well, Cherokee Girl, the problem with that though, I'm not sure about the milk pick because I actually kind of questioned that myself. But the horse pond, the workers from the horse pond, the stables, they said they were there. There clearly it was on the 15th. So I believe they were there on the 15th. Hello, Birdie's Crime Chat. Thank you very much for coming out. I do appreciate you doing so. Part of the reason I'm talking about this tonight and everything is I've said before, and I know I've said this, you have to question everything. We've done this before on this channel, and I think that reminding and remembering Carrie is not with us this evening. She might be lurking in the background or watch later, but I'm sure she will get that message, Cherokee Girl. I've said when especially with Summer Wells, question everything. We've gone back to the beginning and we've done a decent job of re-examining details. The past couple, this might be a little bit of a slow play in what we're going to be doing, especially going through the month of October. I got to see how busy my job gets because my 9 to 5, it's the busy time of year for us. But we're going back to basics. We're going to look at information as if it was just happening today. And we just found out the information today. Because what I've actually learned in the past couple weeks, and what I've come about viewing things and talking with other creators and things like that, it's actually put a new fire in my belly that it was dwindling, and it was dying out. I actually almost just walked away from YouTube. But I realized in this past couple of weeks that there's so many questions and so much out there that has to be taken another look at. The answer is out there. I believe the answer is out there, and it's in the information that they've put out there. Sammy Sparrow, I believe that's my issue as well, as I hit a wall. And I had to back off to get it. I had to back off and just hang out with people and talk and be like, talk about other topics that weren't necessarily Summer Wells. And just take a step back. This is going to be getting back to the basics, getting back to the beginning, as annoying as it may be. Each and every single time I go on live, it's going to be June 15th, 2021, all over again. Because we're going to slowly go over the information and put it out there as if it were brand new. Because Summer deserves to have that done. Her parents won't advocate, won't fight for her, won't talk about her. They dismiss any sort of comment, and they don't want her talked about. Still. And it's a shame. Miss Justice, you're right. We could all be missing something. We could all be missing something. Karen Boz, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I believe they know. I believe they inadvertently put the information of what happened out on the ether, and they've tried to backtrack from it all the way. Rockin' Robin, I didn't hear it, but I will go back and listen to it. I know I said that I'm going to go live, or originally said try to keep a schedule of going live 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes I don't have sometimes I don't have anything to say at all. But we're going back to the basics, and you're going to hear from me more often. Be ready for it. Because this whole business about summer being missing, think of it this way. We've passed 2-year mark. We've passed 27 months. Not long before Christmas this year, it will be 2.5 years. Two and a half years. Quickly are approaching a 2.5 year mark of Summer Wells missing. And I know I was making a point of saying, talking about Michael Vaughn a few moments ago. Please understand that we still do talk about him, but because how much Brandy and Tyler are helping the investigation, working with the police, working with organizations to try to have for him to be found, with people in jail. Currently, that they're still questioning and looking at. I really do believe that they have light years ahead of where with anything about Summer Wells. Do I believe that they're getting closer with Summer Wells to finally charging somebody? Yes. But I believe I actually believe firmly that they're about to bring charges when it comes to the Michael Vaughn. And I believe they're getting close to finding Michael Vaughn. So out of respect for that, in that situation, I don't talk about it that much. But don't think I'm blind to what is going on with with that as well. Sorry, folks. I need to take a drink of something real quick. I got myself some Pepsi here. For those that don't know, when it comes to Michael Vaughn, and this is not to toot my own horn or anything like that, back when, and I don't remember the date off the top of my head, back when his reward fund was going to expire, the channel I was originally on, and I was just co-hosting or appearing and talking about true crime stories, we had found the news article that said that his reward fund was going to close the next day. And we started getting in touch with other channels and hopping around on other channels and talking about Michael Vaughn on larger channels. And I can't say that we 100% made the difference of them keeping that reward fund open. But we made a difference in bringing attention that he deserves to have that reward fund remain open. Their family deserve to have that reward fund remain open to encourage tips. So I go back to following Michael Vaughn's story from the beginning, even though I don't talk about it a whole lot here. Michael Vaughn definitely deserves justice. Their family deserves justice and answers of what happened. Not the details of what happened. Maybe the better question is why it happened. Were they stalked? Were they being watched for opportunity, or was it just pure opportunity? But why was that family the victim? Why was Michael the victim? Sometimes when a kid goes missing, you can sit there and say, not only is that child the victim, but the family's the victim. And then there's other times where you go and say, the child's the victim, but there's no way that those parents are the victim. Usually when it happens that way, the parents are the ones that are arrested and put behind bars. The West Boys is the example that comes up in my mind because that's exactly what happened in that situation. The adoptive family, the adoptive parents were never the victim. I'll have to look at what the statistics on that, Karen, before I agree. Because not to say that you're wrong. I'm not about statistics tonight. I'm just more or less saying, folks, we're headed in a new direction. Be ready, because we're not going to be afraid to step on people's toes. We're not going to be afraid to be gritty. And we're not going to be afraid to say the full truth. We're going to look at it what it is. We're going to dig hard. We're going to find out what the truth is. Or at least as best as we can understand from the circumstances or what the facts are that are released to the public. Karen Boz with Michael Vaughn, they did. They watched him go to his home. And then when he was going up the driveway or whatever it was out front of his home, they went back inside. And then that's what and then that is how it happened. The moment or moments that he was not supervised by a parent, not blaming Tyler at all. He had his hands busy with 2-3 other children. I don't remember how many kids they have. The circumstances are unfortunate with Michael Vaughn. Yeah. Michael Vaughn was out front. He had gotten out front. He was playing on his a scooter or a bike or a tricycle. I don't remember what that detail off the top of my head. And he actually went to a neighbor, another kid's house, I believe it was, or a neighbor's house, and he was knocking at the door or outside playing. Again, I'm not 100% on the details right this second. I'm not. It's been a moment since I've looked into that. But they actually watched him go back to in front of his house, the front area of his house. You know, I've heard there has been many, and when I say many, I'm pretty sure it's close to a dozen calls to CPS about the wells. Birdie's Crime Chat, just to let you know. I've heard it's close to, if not over, a dozen. I believe the whole business, since we're talking about Summer Wells here for a moment, of what they talk about on the 14th and what happened on the 14th was 100% about the boys. Not about Summer. And it was a follow-up, not a closing case. I have no faith or belief that case was getting closed on the 14th. I personally believe, and this is my opinion, this is my opinion. Of course, because we can't prove this because there is the CPS records are not public records, they're private. They're going to be kept sealed in the court system, as a child would deserve. I do believe that what happened on the 14th was a follow-up, and it was because the school system reported issues, signs of neglect. Miss Justice, thank you for putting that up. I appreciate you doing so. This is my opinion. I'm 100%. I believe this. It's just my opinion, but you know what? I believe it's the truth in this. And then this is something that they're not telling. They're not going to tell. I believe that the school system was reporting issues. And as CPS started digging into, there was problems. Right. Karen Boz, you're exactly right. And these are things not and signs of neglect that would have forced the hand of the school district into calling and dialing up CPS and saying, hey, look, we need some help with these kids. This particular family, they're, the amount of time that's being missed, the IEPs, the signs of neglect, physical neglect, or the lack of grooming neglect. The random and concerning bruises. I don't believe 14th had anything to do with Summer. Although they may have included her as the investigation opened up with the boys. I believe that it probably did when the CPS worker finally was able to make contact with the Wells and see Summer. But I believe also something happened on the 14th that nobody talks about. And yes, tonight I'm trying to be just resolved and resolute, or just be chill and talk about it, talk about things. We're going to start taking a look at day 1 again. Day 0 even. We're going to question just like we have done, but we're going to put it in sequential order of events. We're going to question what Candace said, what Don said, what was done, their actions. Everything is going to be discussed. It's going to be day 1 all over again. Day 0 being the 14th, because like I said, I believe something happened on the 14th, not just CPS. We're not ignoring what's happened currently. We're not going to ignore what happens in between now and then when we get there. I know what BH means. I knew BH meant Ben Hill, or Ben Hill, as you said. Guys, I said I was going to have a little bit of open time tonight, and we were going to have an open chat, and anybody's welcome to join me. Bear with me just a moment here. If you wish to join me and don't mind being having your voice be heard by others, you don't have to have a camera. I'm not one of those creators that says you have to show me your face. I would appreciate you doing so I know you're not gonna do what other creators have done or happened to other creators. No, he did not. No, there is no way that happened. No. He did not camp out at his work site. I heard about that rumor. While if anybody's deciding they want to come up and join me, let's just say that Don Wells' work habit was not typical for eastern part of of Tennessee. His work habit had more of a European or Latin schedule, where it's not uncommon to take have a siesta or a 2 or 3 hour lunch in the middle of the day. Oh no! He did work. He did work. He was a workaholic. I'll give that. I'll say I'll agree to that. Hello, Ava. How are you? Thank you for coming in. I will 100% agree that he was a workaholic. He would work 10, 12-hour days, but he took a siesta for lunch. He took 2 to 3 hours off in the middle of the day for lunch. This is where it's potentially a huge issue with everything he ever said about Summer Wells on the 15th. Because let's remember, he slipped up and said that he helped boost Summer to be able to play with the boys on the roof. Hello, Diamond Girl, BB Diamond. Hello. I think somebody else came in that slipped by. Shannon, there you are. Hello, how are you? So if Don Wells was supposedly at work all day on the 15th. Sheba Mom, thank you very much for coming in. If Don Wells was supposedly at work all day, how the hell did he get home on the 15th? To help boost Summer up so she could play with the boys on the roof. Shannon, I do appreciate you doing so. It's been a while since I've been live, and I decided to come live tonight because I had made some decisions about some things, and we're talking about that tonight. Plus, mixing in a little bit of Summer Wells and Michael Vaughn. And honestly, you want to go back to the beginning because at the beginning we talk about something completely different that should be equally disturbing about the education system. Thank you, Miss Justice, for noticing I had done that. Diamond Girl, I agree with you. I personally don't believe he worked the full day. Let me tell you a little story. For those that don't know or had recently heard, yes, I technically live in Kingsport, but the area Kingsport I live in is in Hawkins County, not in Sullivan County. Kingsport is in two different counties. The area I live in is Hawkins County. And if you really pay attention or know the area, we really don't consider ourselves to be Kingsport, but that's who our mail's through here. Hello, Blue Eyes Dumplings. Thank you very much for coming in. Sylvia Brown, thank you very much for coming in. I don't believe that Don had any intentions of working the full day on the 15th. I believe then, and I believe now. What I had heard from conjecture around it in my area, from people that know the wells better than I do, and know the history and the reputation that 110 Ben Hill Road has always had. That his plans and the reason why he had the Subaru on the 15th was he was going to go to Knoxville. I've said it almost from the beginning that he was going to Knoxville that day. He was not working the full day. And this is exactly what I mean by this is, I'm fired up about going over these details again. That did he have intentions of going to Knoxville? Because if he did, a different video that I had done comes into play. The one I did where I was saying that what was Mary right? And how coincidental that a Greyhound bus was leaving from Greenville, which you can get to Knoxville by going through Greenville. Greyhound has a bus that leaves out of their bus station down there at 5:30 p.m. p.m. How many times has he slipped up and said 5:30 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. or whatever time it was? It's the kinds of details that I want to get another look at. So quick question. That pic Candace uploaded on June 15th around 6:15, the oldest boy in motorcycle suit. And you can see Summer Arm in her purple dress. Has Ellie advised when that pic was taken? There's been no information that I'm aware of, and we don't know if Summer was actually in that picture, because let's remember that there was another little girl that was on the Wells property before the 15th that was blonde hair and looked very similar to Summer. in height, weight type of categories. We don't 100% know that if that was Summer, so we can't rule that out, rule that in. And Ellie's never commented about it, so we really don't have any information on it. Birdie's Crime Chat. So I don't drive. And when I do travel, because if I go on vacation, sometimes I'll go to Nashville or I'll go to Memphis or whatnot. I have to take Greyhound or another bus line. The couple times that I have actually been to that particular gas station, convenience store, from what I remember, the cameras that are there are focused on the pumps and the front of the store, not on where the buses. Here, let's take a look at it. Where the buses pick up and drop off from. Bear with me a moment here, folks, where I'm going to pull up a map. We're going to take a look at it real quick. I was not planning on doing this, so for those who love taking a look at maps, this was not planned. This is an old map that we once looked at. If I still have it. I don't appear to have it. If you guys give me a moment, I'll bring it up. Did they close that station too? My apologies, folks. I'm trying to find this real quick. My apologies, folks. Bear with me a moment. Okay. So I've always said it's in Greenville, Tennessee. But this is identifying it as being in Mosheim, I've heard it pronounced a few different ways, so forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it a way that you've heard it before. Locals pronounce it all different ways around here. I've never heard a consensus of how to pronounce this town name. All right, folks. This is just west of Greenville. Is Mosheim. And this is where you're looking at right here is 34 or 11E. It goes by both names. 11E splits off and comes up into Kingsport. 34 follows along and heads into Johnson City. Okay, this is the gas station. This is one area that the buses will come into. They also will park in this area right here. Every time I've been there, and I have looked around, I'm not going to say I know with 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, but from what I can remember, the cameras were always up underneath here looking at the gas aisles, the gas pumps, and over here at the front of the store in this parking lot area. They were not out here on the buses. Okay. You got a little shopping center over here. And this is if anybody wants to zoom in on a map, this is it's Emerald Road and West Andrew or Andrew Johnson Highway. But this is where the buses come into that I'm talking about. This is where that bus leaves at 5:30 p.m. Its destination from here goes to Knoxville and then Nashville. And you have connecting routes both in Knoxville and in Nashville. I believe the line runs, and I don't quote me on this. I believe one of the lines that run through from this location to Knoxville and Nashville goes up into Ohio, while another one goes all the way out to Memphis. And I believe that Ohio line goes up to Chicago. And that's just what I know off the top of my head at the moment. See, Nanny 423, thank you. That's another pronunciation I've heard is Mosheim. But like I said, it really depends on who you talk to in this area. I've heard it called Mosheim. I've heard it called Mosheim. There's a couple different pronunciations I've heard. But that is the one of those things that it just drives me nuts. Have people really looked into that gas station? That potential of a location? I mean, look how it's off the highway here. You look around the area, huge parking lot here, not many cars. The gas station doesn't, from what I remember, doesn't get a whole lot of traffic. That they have a decent amount of gas pumps. They don't get a lot of traffic. See if we can get another view of this gas station. That's it, folks. This is where the buses pull into, right here. It bothers me that Don Wells is stuck on 530 so much. And if you get 2 or 3 different buses in here, and it's timed out right, if Mary is right or was right, and when I'm saying was Mary right, I'm going off of what she had said on the lab like 3 months ago, 4 months ago now. Trigger warning. She believes that Summer was sold. Could this have been an exchange area? Look, you can clearly see a camera there. Oop, it zoomed out on me. I'm sorry. A camera on the corner of the building right there. Where are there other cameras around here? Granted, this photo is from, oh my goodness, August this year. It's up to date. Where are there other cameras in this area? I only see this one. Does anybody else see the camera? I'm not watching the chat, but I'll look here for a moment. Can anybody else see a camera? Denelin 2, the legendary. Exactly. It's an important time. It's an important mark. Could he have potentially been there or near there, hidden away around the side of the building, up the road a little bit, up Emerald Road there? Goes up alongside the in our picture, the right side of the gas station here. Could he have been up the road just a little bit to say goodbye to Summer? And they timed it out for that 5:30 p.m. bus. I'm not saying that is what happened. I'm saying, why does this disturb me so much? Why does it disturb me so much? I've said once on another channel, and I don't remember whose channel it was, that my opinion has changed. I still believe there's a strong possibility of an accident cover up, and this is why I consider the priceless parking lot to be so important. But I can't help but to get out of my mind that Mary was right. This is why I keep saying they've told us what happened. We just don't see it because there's so much manure being thrown on Ben Hill Road that everything got lost in the minutia. And BB Diamond, and rightfully so. No matter what your age is, man, woman, or child, look at the trend of I believe it was a year ago, maybe in a year and a half ago, where there was this knockout game where people would randomly walk up to somebody and punch them to knock them out. Or you look at what happened with the video that I showed at the beginning, where with the teacher, a student hurling a chair at them and knocking them out. You have to forgive me for the way I phrase this. This is exactly why I'm hell-bent on going back to the beginning. This is why we need to start going back to the beginning. This is why I have that fire in my belly saying, go back to the beginning, because there is something there that's been ignored. Shannon, I do appreciate that. I don't get me wrong, I enjoy being on other creators' channels and talking with them and help to further their conversations, to help further what they're saying. And if sometimes I have to, if I challenge somebody's opinion, it's only to get to drill down to what we need to understand further. The only thing that looks like remotely like a camera at this gas station is clearly pointed at the parking lot. Let's see here. Get a different view of the store. Is there any other signs of a camera? Okay, so this picture went from August to March, but still, there are no signs of a camera anywhere. What a perfect place. Trigger warning, sorry guys. What a perfect place to arrange an exchange of some kind. As grim and disturbing as that is sounding to say, it can't be denied. This whole place. Wait. Is that maybe a camera? No, I can't say it is. Disturbing. Baby Diamond, no, I don't recall that. Right, but Sheba, the traditional bubble, or even if they have them where they're underneath the awning, they don't have to have a protective bubble for them. They're not there. They're just not there. Again, guys, if anybody wants to join me, there is a link pinned at the top. Anybody is Find Summer's Truth, I can see you. I apologize if I wasn't responding to something you were saying. I was looking at Google Maps and not watching the chat. Real Rock and Robin, yes, I have been at that gas station. I've taken Greyhound before, and I've stopped. They stop at that station, or they stop at this location. Find Summer's Truth, I apologize. I was not ignoring anybody. I was focused on the map and looking at the gas station. Shannon, it's ironic you say that because I know you're talking about Morphew. And it's a case I tend to focus on kids, and I want to be very clear. It's not to be creepy. It's just kids need that level of attention when they go missing or there's something going on. They need that positive attention. They need their information put out there in a positive light, and I try to be that way. With both Summer Wells and Michael Vaughn, them finding, I can't remember her name. Was it Sherry or Shannon or something like that? I'm sorry. I apologize if I don't remember her name. Them finding her and it being somebody just walking along and accidentally discovering where they had not searched before. It has to give you hope in both Michael Vaughn and Summer Wells. Granted, yes, we are talking about an adult that went missing and now known to be deceased versus a child that's missing, but still, it gives you hope that the kids can be found. Oh, Suzanne, sorry. Suzanne, not Shannon or the other name I mentioned. Suzanne Morphew. That's the name. Denelin too, the legendary. The thing is though, if you go back and look at the video that I had done, where I had suggested it was possible there was an exchange at this location. And maybe this is the reason why I hadn't been on so much, because it kept bugging me and eating at me that I didn't go back to this. That there was more that I was supposed to be able to discover or find out about this. Or maybe subconsciously knew about this and I've never discussed. But we are now. We're going to now. Shannon, I don't know the answers to that. I think I'm going to take a look into what the whole dig into that a little bit and see what I can surmise of what happened. But her being found has to give you hope when it comes to finding Michael Vaughn and Summer Wells. It is where I really want to leave that tonight. Right. Shannon, exactly. No. You're fine. You're fine. I don't mind. I put out there tonight that all topics were welcome. I'm just being honest with you that I don't know a lot to be able to comment a whole lot on what happened with Suzanne Morphew. Really, I got found out about it really late, and I was about the time that the court hearing was happening, where they landed up dropping charges and releasing him, is where I really found out anything about it. So that's how far behind or not in was never following what happened. BB Diamond, I'm going to say it has a potential of being just that. If Mary was right that Summer was sold, is this a high potential area? Well, I'd have to say yes, because where's the security system? No security system, no cameras, no recording, no proof of anything happening. Now, caveat to that will be that Greyhound buses have cameras on them, CCTV camera, whatever, recording system, whatever you want to call it. But you'd have to go back 2 years at this point, find out what buses were there, and to find out if the recordings were working on those buses. There's so many variables that I just don't know. So Greenville, Mossheim, is a really small town, and not to offend anybody if anybody lives out there, but when you talk about different areas, it gets country quick when you're outside of like the Tri-Cities area. Tri-Cities being obviously Kingsport, Bristol, and Johnson City. I joke around and say, if you travel out into Boone's Creek, not Boone's Creek, if you travel out into Ben Hill Road at the wrong time of night, you'll hear dueling banjos. Okay. Of course, I really do mean I joke about that. I'm not serious. But Mossheim is not a big town at all. It's a town that sun goes down, and most businesses, the sidewalks are rolled up and put away for the night. If you understand that phrase. Now, TBI, to be honest, Real Rock and Robin, somebody like TBI, yeah, and FBI, yeah, I would give the card team credit for probably looking at this. But if they don't have cameras on the outside, what are they going to learn? Again, I'm still in agreement with what the card team said. There was no sign of an abduction. A child being sold is not abduction. It is trafficking, but it is not an abduction. And that's what card team looks for. Allie's mom acted like she was trying to coach and hide things in McDonough interview with H. I really never got that impression. I'll have to go back and look again and watch it again. But I didn't get that impression the first time I watched it. If anything, she was upfront about protecting H, and we can't forget there's that block of time that H was not allowed or still not allowed to speak about. I think they dabbled or got close to that block of time, and he had to be reminded that they can't talk about that. But I'm not 100% sold on, and I'll go back and watch, but I'm not 100% sold on that she was coaching him. Birdie's crime chat, yes, they did say not trafficked out of the area. Greenville is just outside of the of the Tri-Cities area. I wouldn't consider it to be outside of the area, to be honest. Even though it's not labeled as being Tri-Cities, I would not consider it to be outside of the area. Okay, I will definitely do that, Shannon. All right, and last call for anybody that wants to join me. And I'm gonna, if nobody does, I'm gonna go ahead and be shutting things down for the night. I definitely will look for that. We're very rapidly approaching 2.5 months, 2.5 years. My apologies. Couple more weeks. You know, it's going to be a couple more weeks, and it's going to be, what is that, 30 months? Or I'm sorry, 28 months. 30 months would be 2.5 years. Find Summer's truth. You're exactly right. Summer's truth needs to be found. Summer's truth needs to be told. Get ready, folks, because we're going to get back to the beginning, and when we do, we are not leaving any rocks unturned. We're going to dig harder than we did before. It's going on 11:15 here in Northeast Tennessee. And I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's a little foggy in my mind, BB Diamond, but I'll be definitely looking into that. I do remember, but like I said, it's a little foggy in my mind. I'm definitely going to take a look into that. It's 11:15 here in Northeast Tennessee on a Saturday night. If you're an NFL football fan like me, I hope your team does well, unless you're playing the Eagles tomorrow. Or if you're a college football fan, I hope your team won, unless you're playing Penn State. Sorry, they're the teams I kind of root in Auburn, but they're the teams I root for. Do you know where your kids are tonight? If you do, give them an extra hug. Make sure that they know that you care about them. No matter if it's that you can physically give them a hug, or you have to give them a text message, let them know that you care, that you're there for them. You never know when that text message or that hug can make the world of a difference. This has been Conversations Living Room. My name is RJ. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening or night. Have a good night, all. I'll be talking to you soon. Bye.